Go for StarCraft Grand Finals, and this is really interesting. Again, having this guy that we've never seen play, but some in the chat also say, you know what? I would normally bet on Happy. Sorry, I don't know who else is already out of chat, but he said something along the lines of, I would normally bet on Happy, but there's this crazy unknown guy that beat all these other good players. I'm going to bet on him instead. So while the bets are not close to closing as I say this, we actually have 15,000 Partoofs on Scandicain and 23,000 on Happy so far. Really curious to see which way this goes. But spawning here in the bottom right, it's going to be none other than the blue Terran player. He's teamless. He's Happy.
The top left as the red Protoss. It's the unknown Scandicain.
Now, there's a lot of things that come into this where it's just like, on one hand, you're worried that this guy, we've actually, and this is sad to say, we've had map hackers, we've had cheaters, we've had ne'er-do-wells, essentially, in Go4Sc2, in monthly cups. I'm not saying that this guy is one, but the questions get raised where you've never heard of this person. The more likely solution is that this is a player who's just somebody we've actually seen before, but under a different name, playing something like Smurf, maybe, I don't know, but regardless, Mr. Scandicain actually has a portrait up on Twitter that, again, kind of quells a lot of these questions, where the ESL folks tweeted out the finals happening on Base Street TV, yada yada yada, but they tweeted out a picture of him as well. So he's got a name to the face, and it's not a Smurf, it's not an unknown dude, it's not some Korean playing on a silly account. So I am truly curious to see how this is gonna go. Now you're saying you're guessing cheese. I can get on that boat. I can kind of see that could have possibly been the way that he won. Protoss cheese is particularly difficult to deal with, but I don't know, man. Like Happy's good, but I'm more concerned about the fact that if it was cheesy, how does he beat Beastie with cheese? Because Beastie's not one that's so susceptible to it, you know?
Yeah, just in general, Terrans don't get the I mean, it's still obnoxious, right? Like, you know, Oracle proxies, DTs hidden, and stuff like that. But it's usually the Zergs that seem to get the most out of Protoss all-ins and cheeses. You know, just all the gateway all-ins they have. But it still exists, right? Like the odd proxy Oracle. You could go really super cheesy versus Terran, like Hero does in Alimu League, like the Oracle into Void Ray Bust. I mean, that's pretty obnoxious. It's like usually if you're decent enough against it, it's not too hard to scout, as most Terrans open up with a Reaper, and it's usually like if you're experienced against it and you scout it, you shouldn't lose against it. That's where tricky Protosses come into effect, and they get, you know, they do weird stuff, and suddenly no one knows how to defend it. Like Proxy Nexus, for instance. Like you probably lose that the first time you see it, but not the second or third time.
Right. Well, got triple Raxes coming down, so they'll have production to deal with something that would be otherwise cheesy. I mean, I'm personally a big fan of, I know it's kind of fallen out of style, but I used to love the way Josh would open CC first into like the 2 racks, but one with like Tech Lab, one with Reactor. We just see the game go from there. This command center, I don't know if he's going to need to cancel it. I don't think he's going to easily finish this though, so for Happy's sake, it might just be easier to cancel here and start up on the high ground immediately, rather than wasting time. He's going to pull SCVs, he's going to try and salvage it.
I mean, this wasn't the fastest possible attack like this, but it is still one of those annoying, like, if I lose to this, I feel like such a bad player. I mean, even getting the Stalker out, and he is doing a gateway attack. He's going up to 3 more gateways. We'll see if he goes to any more, but a 4-gate in itself is so pretty dedicated. I mean, when you consider that most Protoss builds revolve heavily around getting a tech structure first. Robo, Stargate, Twilight Council. To get gateways and dedicate to an attack is quite invested. And usually, with a 4-gate, it's either 1 bunker and an SCV pool, or more than 1 bunker, and you'll be able to defend against it as a Terran player. Anything else, and you're in trouble.
Well, so far he's done a pretty good job of just annoying Happy. It doesn't really cause a lot of serious damage. In fact, I don't think Happy's actually lost any units yet. No, not even the SCVs when they got pulled. So, not too bad so far, but definitely frustrating from the points of view of any Terran player.
Yeah, I don't think Happy's gonna be able to hold this. I think Happy is expecting like, you know, a typical follow-up, but there's a lot of warp-ins on the way. The Reaper's gonna go and scout or try, or never mind, it comes back to help.
So,
okay.
By the way, Scandicain apparently has only just recently joined the team. I guess he was on the academy or something, but now he's on the main team of VSC. They have a tweet saying out he's just joined the team. He's already in the semifinals and going for StarCraft.
Well, that was a mess up.
That was. Mothership Core going down was huge, actually, because that means no photon overcharge. If Happy breaks this, Scandicain might just tap out on account of the fact there's not going to be anything home to stop a counterattack.
Yeah. Nice focus fire on the Marauder, trying to make
Beautiful
up for the
SCVs.
earlier loss. Yeah.
Good pull with only pulling about 3. Of course, 5 is like the magic number most of the time. But either way, Concussive Shell is going to net him one of these kills. And again, there's no photon overcharge. So if Happy can get to a point where he can somehow consolidate, counterattack, he'll destroy the other side of the field. But until then, a couple of Zealots warped in at time are doing great jobs of soaking these hits and dealing some damage.
Yeah, but I think that Happy has successfully held off. You know, the Mothership Core was a big snipe. The Stalkers didn't snipe the Marauders as quickly as they would have wanted. And just, like, plain and simple, Happy had enough production. He wasn't going for a Widowmine drop. He was going for a 3 racks build, which was a nice, you know, just coincidence there. So he's held off, and that means that Scandicain, you know, he had an opportunity to do some damage with no bunkers. I think there definitely was a time where he could have snowballed, but now he has to make up for a lot. That's pretty late tech for a Protoss player.
Yeah, that's not only that, but still no Mothership Core. It's really got me worried about this. Happy's the one to go for drops. He's going to be one to harass and counterattack best he can when he gets the opportunity, but he also might feel a little shaky. You know, his factory's a little bit late. He had to put so much into the barracks. He had to make so many Marauders early on. God knows his stim is not going to be done immediately. Final bets coming in, by the way, as they are closed at this point. 30,341 Partoofs bet on Happy, with 23,549 on Scandicain.
Some people have hope in the newbie.
Yeah. Some people are just sick of losing on the player they bet on all the time, too. I don't know. I know that for me, because I do Partoof betting once in a while, not often, but like every time I do bet on somebody, I just seem to lose. So at some points, I'll just be like, okay, you know what? I normally bet on Snoot, but let's bet on the other guy, just cause. It's because of the jinx and reasons. I didn't scout much of the Reaper, so prompts the immediate scan.
Nice, nice. It's gonna see an Immortal pop out.
Yep.
And that might be a little worrying, but honestly, follow-up all-ins off the back of an all-in that didn't do so much are not that scary. So even if this was, and it's not, he's obviously going up to Colossus, Happy would be okay with that. I
think it's pretty important, though, to see not just the Immortal spot, like that's cool and all, but the actual Forge getting chronoed out, too, knowing that Scandicain is trying to make up for the, I guess, lost time early on. I mean, if you see Chronos going into Forges, you know they're not just like super 7-gate all-inning you as well. But, yeah, this is worthy.
It's really nice, not only that this is going to be a secure third, and it's probably not going to be scouted for a while, not until it's gotten some benefit out of it, but also, Happy is going to be scouting the third, first and foremost. And if he doesn't see it for a while, his first instinct might very well be like a 2-base Colossus all-in that's just like heavily delayed. And he's gonna maybe make the mistake of being very defensive as opposed to really offensive, because Scandicain does have a third. So if this gets up, I think this is an awesome move. But he's gotta hold on against medevac drops without a Mothership Core and without Blink.
Oh my gosh, is this for real? I just got linked something on Skype. PETA has a Zergling campaign. PETA reminds StarCraft players that Zerglings have feelings too. What?
It's actually on the PETA website, too.
Like, that's not a spoof? That's not like The Onion? Like, that's for real?
I mean, it might be their own spoof. I haven't read it
That's
yet.
so stupid. That's so unbelievably stupid if that's anything close to real.
I'll have to read it later. Of the expansion pack's launch, Terrans for the ethical treatment of Zerglings.
Alright, looking for the scan. Not going to see the Observer. Okay, so as he pushes up the ramp, the problem is there's Colossus, there's gonna be force fields out in the open. I think Happy's got a chance. On that ramp, gonna have a bad time. Tries to go for the Colossus, does walk away. Force field's still available, Guardian Shield's still available. This amount of units, though, it's so scary to have to deal with.
So unfortunately, Happy won't make the mistake of thinking that it's a 2-base all-in. He does scout the third.
That's a free Nexus if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's probably gonna stay on the end of the game, honestly, for Scandicain. That's too bad. I mean, if he had gotten a third on location, it managed to get up. I mean, he was mining from it. It would have potentially been defendable as a regular third, but that was a really hard call to make, especially again with a Mothership.
Also,
Oh, there it
supply
is.
blocks him too without going down, so that's a little unfortunate.
Yeah. The militia corps is around, just wasn't using that attack. I guess he was more scared of the Terran army.
Yeah, I like keeping it
Wanted
home for a photon overcharge. I think that's a better use of it anyways.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, and he might have been able to get with the third on location, but the secret third could have been a really cool move. Maybe on a different map, it would have been unscouted for even longer. But Echo's not the biggest.
This factory though, sickest scout NA.
Does boost into the main. He does not have blink. It's one thing he had to give up, trying to get to a solid enough army. The Colossus, you know, they walk up. That's good, but
It
they just get out.
draws everything out of position though, so Happy gonna head towards that natural base. Now there's Stalkers, there's a photon overcharge. Scandicain should be able to hold over here. Happy goes back towards the main, thinking everything had left. However, they didn't. He gets massacred. Can he win the fight in the natural to make up for it? He's just lost so much army supply in the main. A devastating amount, I would say. And I don't think he's going to win this fight either. Happy's still on two bases. That's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not. His Viking count is only just now getting up there. This might be a perfect opportunity for Scandicain to do it all in. I think it wasn't intending to. He wanted to get a third base. He may even want to get up to, like, you know, more upgrades and whatnot. But after taking out most of the Terran army and not losing any of your own important units, I think now you definitely should try and counterattack. You should definitely try and win right now.
I forgot to print out that Tumblr page you sent me and stick it to my monitor.
Did I do it again? I don't even notice.
I know. no, yeah, you did it again.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, this is where I thought they had their Colossus. Did it die?
Well, he's got two. I guess one did not get picked because he only had the two, I guess. This is derping
there's
around
two more
elsewhere.
coming out now.
We got minor attacks going inside the natural. Minor being the emphasis here. If Happy can pick off those two Colossus, I feel confident that actually his army with SCVs could pick off everything on the ground.
Two Colossus, I guess, were accident left at home or
Oh, here we go.
something. So yeah, that makes that army a lot scarier.
It truly does, but Guardian Shield's going to help reduce some of the damage. Vikings doing what they can. Kind of waste shots on the Observer, in my opinion. There's a whole volley down while the Stalkers are focus firing them, but you know, he's going to break the Colossus. Now he's got the possibility to break the army, but SCVs have got to get pulled, and they already were. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, Happy was doing a decent enough job just because the Zealots were really stuck behind a lot of those units, but now they're finally out, they're soaking up the damage. The Immortal is still alive, and then the Marauders are really what lived through that fight, so that's great for the Immortal.
Well, I think Happy accidentally F2'd at some point.
He gets targeted. Oh, I guess he did. It looks like he's still gonna hold. That Immortal got instantly targeted.
You know, a small issue here is Happy again. Like I think he F2'd at some point because he accidentally brought the drop back, but not in the drop. So
I mean, that's a mistake, but I think it's okay.
Well, I mean, they were killing probes, and it would have been defensive warpins versus offensive warpins. Like, I think it's unfortunate, but either way, he's gonna win the game. So GG, good hold out of Happy. That's a crazy close hold too. Like, that was like uncomfortably close for Happy.